Hello. We're going to start this the same way we did last time. Try to visualize this with me. You're a young lad in high school and you just arrived at your front door from a 12-hour day at school, including 3 hours of commuting and waiting for one of the most coveted modes of transportation New York has to offer, the bus. Public transport. Specifically, the Q39. Now, if you've ever rode the Q39, you know what I'm talking about. I'm afraid to even say the name aloud, as the old bus driver might be in my fucking mirror in the middle of the night if I say it one too many times. Alright, visualize yourself. You get home, you turn on your gaming laptop first thing, you fire up your favorite game at the time, World of Warcraft. For a brief moment, you experience resolve, and you think about maybe you should be a little disciplined. You consider studying for your trigonometry exam tomorrow, so that way you don't have to worry about it later. Now you're left with a choice. Do you escape from yesterday's bullshit with your favorite video game, or do you read this stupid textbook where you're reading about half a page per minute trying to digest some technical jargon that some fucking weirdos in the STEM field decided to come up with? This time, something weird happened. You alt F4 WoW, you take off your headphones, and you open the textbook. You read Chapter 1, The History of Angles. Let that sink in for a second. Before you can get through the first sentence, you get interrupted by a terribly loud television. It turns out your father is watching Ghost Hunters. These motherfuckers from TAPS. They gotta fucking find some spaghetti monster and get him out. That's the most important shit. That's way more important than your test. It's very fucking important that Steve, Grant, and James get the fuck out of that haunted building at maximum volume, of course. You bite your tongue, you try to study, and before you know it, half an hour goes by. You're only 4 pages in. You go over to your dad and you tell him to turn down the bullshit. Turn down the TV. Turn down the fucking taps. Nobody wants to hear that shit. Which he grumpily obliges. Finally, the TV is down, you think. Time to get some work done. Immediately, without any respite, out of nowhere, the door is kicked in by a 5'6" Polish lady. Kurwa! You're the worst child on the planet! You and your brother! You did not help me carry grocery when you were at school! What the fuck? You are supposed to go, nurse! Leave early to help me! I needed help! You don't do enough ever! You just play video game! Just imagine this kind of interaction every single day for 15 plus years, going in circles, 30 minutes plus every single day. And at a certain point, you're so exhausted from going through the motions, walking away isn't even an option that comes to your mind. You have become so ingrained in dealing with these situations, just like your mother has, just like your narcissistic parent has, that you are just like them. They bring you down to the same exact level. And you can't walk away. You can't have your own thoughts, your own headspace. They're in control. Basically, as your mother rushes out of the room because she's pissed as usual, it's just the norm, honestly. After draining you of your life force through these baiting tactics, such as holding things over your head like the golden child card, like, oh, my neighbor's son is so much, he has a job, he gets all these bitches, but it's all just bullshit. It's somebody looking from the outside in. Everybody has their own problems. Nobody's perfect. Like, come on. As your mother leaves, I guess, in this story, an argument ensues between your father and her. It's a fucking war zone. You check the clock. There's curvas being thrown back and forth. Pierdoles, fucking... It's very loud, let's just say. And your walls are made of paper for whatever fucking reason. You check the clock, 45 minutes left before you have to go to sleep. And just like that, the urgent crushes the important. The overwhelming urge to numb those negative emotions which were caused by interacting with your malignant narcissist mother bubble to the surface. You throw the book into the corner and you open WoW. Fuck it, man. I'm just gonna do some Battlegrounds. I'm just gonna do Warzone Gulch. Like, screw this, man. I'm just gonna shadow dance some fuckers and one-shot people and forget about all this. At least I could put on my headphones and not have to listen to the TV and yelling, right? Well, that concludes the story, and I really just wanted to say you're not any lesser of a person for being held back by this type of energy in your life, these types of people. You didn't really have a choice. It's completely RNG. And honestly, try not to be too hard on yourself for getting fucked up in all of these ways from a narcissist. It's to be expected that being raised by and living with a narcissist hinders your achievements in life. Not only are these people trying to sabotage you for their own benefit, they're also insanely insecure. They have absolutely no problem pointing out every single flaw that you might have, even if their expectations are just flat out unrealistic and impossible. It does not matter. You will never be good enough. You could fix every single problem that narcissist points out to you over the course of 4 years. You will still never be enough. There will still be some weed that you're smoking that's not good, that makes you a terrible person, the not going to church, whatever the fuck you can think of. These people are so fucked up internally, and they are so unokay with themselves that they project that onto you, and they use guilt and create doubt. And honestly, that's pretty harsh to give individuals who are trying to learn about the world. The last thing people need is self-doubt. It's already hard enough to fucking take action. Basically, the narcissist is going to use guilt as a weapon and sow doubt, which in turn leads you to self-sabotaging due to indecisiveness, lack of confidence, and just flat out fear of failure and rejection if you're like me and you've gotten to that point. I did make a video earlier. I don't know which one it is, but I discuss one of the traumatic situations with my mother that actually ended up causing a lot of my fear of failure that I've noticed, and I still really struggle getting over it. I don't know how to be okay with like not being smart and I don't know how to be okay with these specific things that I identify with and attach to, because I'm just so doubtful of myself. Basically, if you've gotten anything from this anecdote and these preceding words from the story, the best way to deal with these people is to love them from a distance. And unfortunately, that means distancing yourself as far away, interacting with this person as little as humanly possible. Unfortunately, you can't make it work with a narcissist. And unfortunately, it's not always possible to move out or go to a different space and create basically this environment where you could be yourself and not this person that the narcissist has crafted for you to be over the years. Because you are basically just a vessel for them to suck life out of. And that's not fair to anybody. That's insanely fucked up, especially if your parent is doing that to you. But my best advice after living with these types of people for a very long time, specifically one individual, is interact with this person as little as possible and start making progress towards making a life for your own. If that means moving out, we need to acquire a job. If we've never had a job, that means we need to start sending out resumes. If we've never had a resume, we need to start by building a resume. If we've never done that before, we need to start looking up YouTube videos. There are step-by-step actions we can take to better our lives, and this way, the sooner we get out of this shitty situation, the less energy we actually have to invest into going through hoops and trying to make sense of just utter nonsense, insecurity, just irrationality from the narcissist. A narcissist will not let you have your own life. They will not let you make progress in your own life. You must be below them in order for them to feel good about themselves. And they do this through baiting you into arguments and using that as an excuse to basically show you like, haha, you're getting emotional. Look at how bad of a person you are. even if they may quite literally be baiting the shit out of you and your response is actually very justifiable. These people must be in control. Even if it means burning everything that you've ever loved, known, straight to the fucking ground through sheer malevolence. In my case, maybe this is a story for another day. I don't really know if I'm too comfortable sharing it. The malignant narcissist in my family has no problem devastating all of the generational wealth left behind by my grandmother. And it fucks me up because this is basically the last thing I have of my grandmother. And I work really fucking hard when I wear this. Sometimes I just take this to the gym because I feel like it gives me power sometimes. So I want to build upon this because this is where I come from. And my grandma has influenced my family a lot in a lot of positive ways, so I want to keep it going. And to see something like that just get burned is... I can't even put it into words. Just try to visualize yourself. Hell, most of you can visualize yourselves. You're probably in a similar situation. Another point about the narcissist that I wanted to mention real quick is these people are going to make up all these narratives about how their behavior is coming from a good place. The classic thing my mom used to tell me is, or my brother would say, and he would call it tough love, is, I don't mean to make you feel like utter garbage when I tell you I wish I had a different child, or I wish my brother wasn't a loser, or something like that. It's because I want you to get your act together. This leaves me feeling... I wrote this down. Realistically, this leaves me feeling like saying, fuck you. I don't care. I don't care what your opinion is. But unfortunately, these narcissists are so good at baiting that they get into your head and they cause you to doubt. Even if in the initial argument where you're defensive, you may not be doubting. But when you walk away and you think of this fucked up shit like, if my mother isn't going to love me, or like, if I have so much trouble with trust and I can't even trust my own parents, or my mother in this case, how the fuck am I going to cultivate that with random neurotypical people on the street? You see the dilemma here? You're kind of fucked. You're fucked if you do, you're fucked if you don't. If you live with a narcissist, you're fucked. If you don't live with the narcissist, you're still fucked because you have to deal with all of the consequences that they left you with. I want to talk about something really quick that may apply to a couple of people. The scapegoat child. The reality is these people don't want to see you better than them, and they will use you as an excuse for why they are not better than who they actually are. They will project their inadequacies into you. And at a certain point, you learn that you can't even trust your own parent. And that is a really damning feeling. There's no better way to feel worthless than to know that nobody in life will ever love you like your parent. And yet, your parent doesn't even actively show you love. They actively try to destroy everything you build. Whether it's your confidence, achievements, your ability to provide for the future of your offsprings and just give them a better life. It's truly abhorrent the lengths a narcissist or a psychopath, if you've encountered those types of people, will go in order to keep up their facade. I won't dive very deep into it, but let's just say this kind of person is teetering on the edge of true evil. Hence, malignant. If you're living with someone who's actively ruining your well-being or mental health, or you think what was your brother, your parent, maybe a narcissist, if your brother is acting like a narcissist, then odds are your parents are a narcissist. Just throwing that out there. Because you learn it from somewhere, right? Which is also an interesting point. If you learn from your parent, that means you are likely to be a lot like them as well, even if you don't want to identify with being a narcissist. You may have these tendencies like fucking crazy. I've come to the realization recently that I do a lot of narcissistic shit. However, I like to believe I'm self-aware enough to know that I'm not perfect and I do have flaws, and it's not my place to be the arbiter of justice and tell everybody how shitty they're doing in the world and how great I am and bring people down. Ultimately, man, there's no point in jumping through hoops for the next 40 years trying to traverse the trauma of a narcissist, the trauma that they've instilled in you. You're better off cutting the cancerous part of your body. Get it out before it can take over the rest. Get it out before it is too late. Do not let it develop further. Would you really let yourself drown with your foot stuck in a drain pipe during a flood that keeps going higher and higher and higher? Eventually, let's say it starts at your ankle, right? Eventually it's up to your knee. Eventually it gets up to your waist. Now it's getting worrisome, right? Are you willing to sit there and accept the water rising until you potentially drown? High likelihood of drowning, by the way. Or are you cutting off that leg just to survive? Sometimes it really fucking hurts, but we need to cut out a big piece of us just so the whole can survive. The narcissist is the leg that is stuck in the drain pipe. That will be the sole reason you end up drowning. Are you keeping the cancer or are you cutting it off? That's all I had to say.